Yesterday, after Donald Trump abruptly tweeted out no second coronavirus stimulus after conversations with Mitch McConnell and other lawmakers, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, got on a phone call with House Democrats, and they were talking about Donald Trump tweeting out, "We're not doing a second stimulus," which seems like the last opportunity Trump had to do something to actually gain some votes in this upcoming election. And Nancy Pelosi suggested or wondered whether Donald Trump's use of the steroid dexamethasone for treatment of his coronavirus might be impacting Donald Trump's decision-making ability. Because even for the standards that we have come to expect for Donald Trump, his behavior is out of control. And last night hit, and indeed, Donald Trump appeared to have had a steroid-induced manic episode on Twitter. If you imagine the scene at the White House, which at this point, I don't know if the White House is more like a psych ward or a biohazard unit at this point. I guess it's like a biohazard psych ward. Donald Trump would not stop tweeting last night things that make absolutely no sense. And it is again raising questions about whether Donald Trump is experiencing mania as a result of the drugs he is on to treat coronavirus. Now, as I told you earlier this week, it's not just observers from the outside that have these concerns. Donald Trump Jr., as Gabriel Sherman wrote in Vanity Fair on Monday, Donald Trump Jr. reportedly is worried that Donald Trump is manic and wants to stage an intervention. And as we've talked about before, corticosteroid-induced mania is not an uncommon side effect from the drugs that Donald Trump has been taking. Donald Trump already has a tendency to have this sort of up-down, manic, and then depressed periods or episodes. And last night was completely crazy. Okay, so look at what is going on. And remember, this is not some obscure political advisor or a podcast host. This is the president of the United States. At 7:41 p.m. Eastern last night, Donald Trump tweeted, "I have fully authorized the total declassification of any and all documents pertaining to the single greatest political crime in American history, the Russia hoax. Likewise, the Hillary Clinton email scandal, no redactions." So it's a crazy tweet. It's already wacky. But then 40 minutes later, Donald Trump tweets about these same documents, which he supposedly just declassified. Trump tweets, quote, "All Russia hoax scandal information was declassified by me long ago." What? You just said you're declassifying it now. Trump goes on to say, "Unfortunately for our country, people have acted very slowly, especially since it is perhaps the biggest political crime in the history of our country." Notice in neither tweet does Trump actually say what crime was committed. That's a theme. But long ago, you declassified it. 40 minutes earlier, he announced he was declassifying these documents. And 40 minutes later, he says, "I actually declassified this stuff long ago." People are even on the right concerned about the mental state of Donald Trump and whether this is being impacted by the steroids that he is on. It continued all night. It kept going this morning, seemingly nobody able to get Donald Trump under control. The speculation is that this is literal roid rage. The president roid raging on Twitter for hours. Trump projecting about Joe Biden, saying, quote, "I just hope the voter understands that they are all fake news, trying hard to push a man that should never be president of our country." It sounds like he's referring to himself there in 2016, right-wing media, eventually when the Republican primary was over, getting in line and pushing for Trump, who should never have been president of the United States. Trump, again, erratically, after stopping the second coronavirus stimulus just hours earlier, out of the blue, Trump tweets, quote, "If I am sent a standalone bill for stimulus checks, $1,200, they will go out to our great people immediately. I am ready to sign right now. Are you listening, Nancy?" This was just hours after he stopped negotiations and said, "We're not doing a second coronavirus stimulus." Again, is this some kind of roid rage? Is Trump thinking clearly? Did someone get to him and say, which, by the way, would have been good advice, Mr. President, "Sir," as he likes to say, The stock market imploded when you tweeted no second stimulus. It was sort of like the last opportunity in these 27, 28, as of yesterday, days before the election to do something good for the American people and maybe regain some votes. Maybe Trump realized, what am I doing? I'll now tweet, I would sign stimulus checks, making no sense. Trump then inventing a new number system, tweeting 11,00. So that's not, I don't know, what kind of format that is. 11,00. North Carolina residents get incorrect voter registration forms. 2,000 LA County voters received faulty ballots with no way to vote for president. Many others throughout USA. Here we go. This will be the most corrupt election in American history. Then Trump again, after saying, remember, no more second stimulus, tweets to demand stimulus money for airlines, tweeting, quote, the House and Senate should immediately approve $25 billion for airline payroll support and $135 billion for paycheck protection programs for small business. Both of these will be fully paid for with unused funds from the CARES Act. Have this money. I will sign now. And then a tweet that is both completely incoherent, but very disturbing. Donald Trump saying, quote, I don't even know what this means. So I had to constantly fight off all this scum, achieve more than any other president in first term, and then they talk chaos. They created crimes against me and this administration. There are dozens more, but the point here is Trump is more out of control than usual. And just imagine the scene at the White House. Trump already difficult to control. Trump now is on steroids, which can cause mania, euphoria, and delusions of grandeur. And anyone who wants to go near Trump has to wear full PPE based on a report that we've gotten. Why? Because Trump has coronavirus and he is presumably still contagious unless he actually has had it for way longer than we've been told, in which case he might be past the contagious phase. The only alternative to Trump still being contagious is that they really lied about when Trump first tested positive. It is a man crumbling before our very eyes. A new poll has him down 21. So where are we right now? We could be, if we get the job done, we could be getting to the end of this global nightmare, but it depends on you going out to vote. It depends on me going out to vote. Believe me, I'm going to vote. I would crawl over broken glass to vote. I would crawl over shards of, I don't know, send me, creative people, please send me some more metaphors I can use akin to crawling over glass to vote. I would like to be loaded up with some good ones for the last 4 weeks of this campaign. We can move on to the end of this national nightmare. We have the opportunity. There's 27 days to go. Every single day, the Trump administration shows us what happens when anti-science Christian conservatives have power in government. On everything from climate change to fighting this pandemic, we cannot afford another 4 years of Donald Trump. One of our sponsors today is the Free Thought Equality Super PAC. Both they and I want to remind you that voting against Donald Trump in the presidential election is one of the most important things you can do right now. If you want religious conservatives to have less power and you want science to have more influence in government, make sure you're registered to vote. Make the commitment to vote on or before November 3rd. I also encourage you to check out the Center for Free Thought Equality, which is an advocacy group that promotes evidence-based public policy and supports secular candidates running for office. Becoming a member is completely free, gives you access to tons of excellent resources related to secularism in politics. Just visit cfequality.org. You can find the link right underneath this video. This message was paid for by the Free Thought Equality Super PAC and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.